The Louie Bellina Show, final hour Monday. The Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. Residential, commercial, industrial services. Yep, that's what they do at CC Electric. Free estimates, military and veteran discounts. They have that at CC Electric. In our final hour, here's what I would love. Love is such a strong word. It's so powerful. Here's what I would love to do. I know at 1:35, we got our listening Aggie Baseball with Sdao Lyons and Earley. Each game listening to Sdao Friday, Lions on Saturday, and Early on Sunday. Also, text message sweep in about 20 minutes. So if you got something to say, text now. I'm not going to say forever hold your peace because we'll hang out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, happy days. So you can text questions, comments, opinions, just what's kind of rolling through your head. Text 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. And I'll see what's up inside the Texas Mobile and Lube Express inbox. Aggie Baseball, 10-1. The Arizona State game, huge key answer. Response, loved it. Aggie Basketball, Lenardi, updated bracketology. Was it like 11? A little after, somewhere in there. But A&M last team on the last 4 in. 2 wins, 2 wins, 2 wins. Yes, they're getting it. No, they're not. Where are you at with, there's just so much going on, right? Aggie softball is at 2 weekends away from SEC play beginning. If you are an NFL fan, the Houston Texans today have been quite active. They made a trade with the Detroit Lions. It's breaking news, even though I'm looking up at my TV screen. I'm inside the Charles Schwab studio, and on my TV screen, breaking news, even though this is like an hour old now or two, but the Texans are acquiring running back David Montgomery from the Detroit Lions. And Montgomery's been available because he got demoted to their number 2. Offensive lineman Juice Scruggs and a 4th and 7th round pick got sent to Detroit. There's a lot of money Montgomery's owed for the Lions. There's cap. But Montgomery 2 years ago was sharing, touches, snaps. It was a co-running back situation, but last year it became clear that Montgomery was their RB2. I think Montgomery is just massive for the Texans, but with the offensive line play that the Texans have gotten, does it matter who your running back is? I ask that honestly. Like, this is brilliant and all, but with their O-line, it doesn't matter? The Houston Texans actually traded one of their few good offensive linemen. That broke earlier this morning. They sent Titus Howard to the Cleveland Browns in exchange for 3 fifth-round picks. By the way, deal can't become official until the new league year begins at 4 p.m. That's Eastern on March 11th. So I guess money, age, going to be 30, which is ancient, I guess, in O-line years. And the price he was going to cost, the Texans did not like the formula. So, yeah, the Texans have been active. And they've traded 2 offensive linemen. When you consider the state of their O-line play, you kind of can't figure that they've really hurt themselves with the deals they've made to trade away 2 offensive linemen. And in the end, 3 fifth-round picks. And they traded a 4th and 7th, along with Scruggs, another O-lineman, over to Detroit. And they ended up with David Montgomery. And I love David Montgomery, who, wanted to be RB1, and now he is. And I don't know. When you have a quarterback that hasn't developed, yeah. And I'm sure all us Aggie fans at least are familiar with the concept that the Texans decided to fire their second offensive coach who was involved with C.J. Stroud in the last 2 years, as opposed to looking at C.J. Stroud, right? Gerard Johnson got fired. He was the quarterback's coach for all 3 years of Stroud's career. And according to reports I've seen, Gerard Johnson joining the Philadelphia Eagles staff. A league source told, everyone, The Athletic is where I saw it. The deal allegedly is not finalized. And that was like 2-3 days after the Texans and Gerard mutually parted ways. So, again, year 2 of C.J. Stroud, they fired the OC. It was his fault. And then year 3, Gerard Johnson, who'd been his quarterback coaches for all 3 years, it was his fault. Because all 3 years, it was Gerard Johnson working with him. At least that's what it looks like when you're firing everyone and, I'm sorry. D'Amico Ryan sounded so tone deaf when talking about D'Amico after the playoff games and the playoffs were over for the Texans. And no, he's not going to blast him. You shouldn't blast any player through the media. But you can kind of more of a no comment approach versus trying to sell a story that doesn't make sense. That's how I think, just to be fair with you. But the Texans have been active. Traded Titus Howard, acquired David Montgomery. I guess they're going to establish a run game, but they still have no line. 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. Something was interesting. Mel Kiper, 12 players that increased their draft stock. And he didn't go with necessarily the more high-profile names, but you know, Mike Washington, the running back from Arkansas, Zachariah Branch, the wide receiver from Georgia, Caden Proctor, the offensive tackle at Alabama. You know how a lot of times I and some others that I hang out with scream, look at the tape, look at the tape, look at the tape. I would kill to see what Caden Proctor's tape looks like. Because I know in the times I've watched Alabama, because I'm not claiming I watched every game, I've seen Proctor, for all the hype, get beat so many times. Like, because he is this tall prototype physical beast, yet he got beat too much. Like, I don't know. Maybe I just didn't watch enough. But, impressed. Danny Sutton, Penn State. Malachi Lawrence, the linebacker from UCF. Carson Sherrar, linebacker, Iowa. Jack Kelly, linebacker, BYU. D'Angelo Pons, the cornerback from Indiana. Again, 12 names in total. Charles Demings, the cornerback from Stephen F. Austin. Jalen Kilgore, safety, South Carolina. Kyle Lewis, safety, possibly linebacker from Pittsburgh. And one last name, Bud Clark, the safety from TCU. Made his final list. Something that I thought was kind of interesting, and it depends on how you want to look at it, but The Athletic had every one of their beat writers talk about what did we learn about each team. Not players, but each team at the NFL Combine. What did we learn about each team at the NFL Combine? Like the Dallas Cowboys. What did they learn about the Cowboys at the Combine? Well, the Cowboys have a new defensive coordinator, but they're switching from a 4-3 to a 3-4. Pretty straightforward. So now their pass rushing profile is different. And now they're looking for stand-up edge rushers, and they've got to be able to drop into coverage. Great news for their second-year edge rusher, Donovan, man, I'd butcher his last name. But what about Clowney? That's not his profile. So the Cowboys need to mix up their edge rushers, even their linebackers, because of the 4-3 to 3-4 switch. But that could be second life for some of the guys currently in the system. Houston Texans. And it's funny, the beat writer, not really hard work here, but, quote, the quarterback needs better support on all fronts. They mentioned they parted ways with the quarterback coach, Gerard Johnson. And they also mentioned it was a year after they fired the OC. That's what they learned. Like, he needs better support on all fronts. That's digging deep. That's some high-level investigation there. Hey, I got a question. Can you and I do better? You and I were not at the Combine. What do the Texans need to move forward? Is it as basic as a true O-line? Is it CJ Stroud to just level up and they have enough? Because, no team has everything. It's very rare that, you need a top 5 O-line, top 5 wide receiving core, top 5 running back, and a top 5 quarterback. That's kind of a big ask. You don't get to have, what you need is everything. Oh, well, I hadn't looked at it from that approach. My bad. That's just kind of, it don't go like that. So what do the Texans need to level up? And it's, that line. He needs better support on all fronts. What's his role then? Is he the quarterback that makes others better? Or are they saying that everything around him needs to be better to make him better. Because if he's the one, doesn't he make others better around him? Or if everything is ranked in the top 5, then it's just the whole offense. It's not him or not him. That's kind of like what's stuck in my head with this. For the Dallas Cowboys, defense, 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 defense. And if they just don't spend their 2 first-round picks on the defensive side, they're just keep spinning their wheels in place. Am I missing something? I think the Cowboys are rather simple. Tony Catalina, cornerback, CB. Cornerback, CB. And there's quite a few at the first-round grade. That really shouldn't be hard if the Cowboys, almost made myself laugh, want to pick something logically, something that fits, right? Shouldn't be hard at all. 979-693-1150. You want to play amateur GM with me? Feel free. Cowboys, Texans, tackle your favorite team. But the Texans, David Montgomery, hell of a pickup, though. 979-693-1150. Will they be able to block for him? Will it matter? 979-693-1150. And that's after the Texans had the long win streak regular season, where the hottest teams hit in the postseason. And the AFC had the door wide open to the postseason. Did they not? Yeah. I got to move on from that. It was fascinating to watch in real time. 979-693-1150. Don't know about anybody else, but baseball season, it's weird with the spring training, MLB, the World Baseball Classic, breaking it all up. I'm not a spring training exhibition guy either. The World Baseball Classic brings an extra energy and buzz to it all, but in all fairness, I don't get down with it too much because I watched it and I still realized, there's only so much investment. The foreign countries are way more invested than maybe the Team USA. Not that they're not trying hard or trying to play, but when Scooble gets one start, and I'm like, okay, he may be the best pitcher in the world. One start, Dominican Republic, the number 1 seed, number 2 seed, and it's Great Britain. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? So, and I'm sure that was negotiated agents, contracts and stuff, but you're only going to make one start, one appearance, period. Okay, I get it. Spring training, not supposed to jeopardize the rest of your career and all. But that's the one. I'm like, oh, man. I don't know how we're building to win. So, Major League Baseball opening day is coming up end of March, and it's on Netflix. I don't want to be the old dude sitting on his porch, but something about saying that sentence out loud. And in our last hour together, kind of mentioned things to look forward to in March, whether it's Zone March Madness, and you can hear all the games that are on the Zone thanks to Westwood One. But in baseball, opening day. In sports, that used to be a holy religious holiday. It used to be, opening day, telling stories. And now we look forward to it. But on Netflix? Question mark? Something seems off. And I have been complaining for years that even if it wasn't on Netflix, it would be on at 2 a.m. on ESPN because they would open up overseas somewhere on a Wednesday, doing 2 random games and then 5 days off until we were having these pseudo fake opening days. Like, what a great tradition that, for money, for international exposure, for many different reasons, but baseball has been willing to sell. I loved opening day. What was the old traditional Cincinnati at home would always first pitch an hour before anyone else because that was opening day tradition. I got no problem with tradition in sports, but it seems like traditions in general are not recognized like they used to be. Oh, wait, I did just go old dude on the porch. My bad. My apologies. But that used to be part of what made baseball great, was the lore, the mythology, the traditions, and the history. But, opening day is on Netflix. Interesting. 979-693-1150. Again, we'll do a text message sweep before we're out of here at 2 o'clock. And anything that's on your mind, you can share. 979-693-1150. Texas Mobile and Lube Express, owned by Gabriel Garcia. We'll grab a quick timeout. We'll be right back. It is the Louie Bellina Show, Monday on the Zone.
Make sure to get the podcast of TexAgs Live, the Louie Bellina Show, or Chip Howard Sports Talk Daily at zone1150.com and everywhere you get your podcasts.
The Louie Bellina Show. Down the stretch we come in about 10, that's wrong, about 15 minutes. I got to listen in for you. It's a big listen in. We got to listen in Aggie Baseball, Sdao from Friday, mixed in with Lions from Saturday. Michael Early will wrap things up, and that will be after the W Sunday over Arizona State. Going to do a text message. We probably at the end of our time together. So 979-693-1150. What's on your mind? Don't keep it hidden to you. The Louie Bellina Show from inside the Charles Schwab studio on a Monday. Low cost, full service, best of all local. That is Schwab. You can visit Mark Sim right here in College Station. Find Mark online at schwab.com/College Station. Charles Schwab and Company Incorporated, member SIPC. March, to me, is one of the most fascinating months. SEC softball about to begin. SEC baseball right around the corner. March Madness with Aggie basketball this year, the March to March, looking for the 2 wins. I mean, I almost feel frantic because it's like you look around every corner, there's a story, there's a storyline, there's something to watch, and it's all doubt, which is highly uncomfortable, but as a sports fan, I feel like there's so much to root for. Really. Aggie baseball trying to redeem last year. Aggie softball trying to redeem last year. Aggie basketball just trying to finish, man. Just trying to bring it home. And I see inside the Texas Mobile and Loop Express inbox a lot of frustration where for me, I don't know, man. I am cheering my butt off. I am trying to give all I got, kind of like from the fandom of just cheering for these teams to finish. Because I don't know about you. It's kind of tiresome. Kind of tiresome having the same negativity, the same old, just everyone's frustrated, everyone gets fatigued, everyone tired all the time. Underdog story is not a bad story. And Aggie basketball and Bucky Ball, watching them bleed, watching them try, all the things that were against them, the program, the state that Buzz left it in. Just saying. It would make me sad. I know, deep words there, if they don't finish. So anyway, and baseball, it's weird, baseball every year you think in Omaha forever, but not this year because how last year ended and this year is just incremental. And being able to actually appreciate, dead serious, appreciate watching incremental progress again. It's been a different experience. Because with an expectation of Omaha, you don't see anything incremental. You don't appreciate anything incremental. Why didn't they win by 15? They only won by 11. So honestly, this has all been a different type of sports experience. And this is the month. This is like the swing. Baseball, softball will begin SEC play. And we'll get all our answers on both of them quickly. And can Bucky Ball finish? 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. This week is fascinating me. So I'm the program director for The Zone. Not just, Louie Bellina Show, your third favorite talk show host. And A&M women's basketball in the SEC tournament, where they've won like 5 straight to turn their entire season around. They're playing and this is all the sports that are going on around us if you're an A&M sports junkie. So they won like 5 straight. They're playing 5 o'clock on Wednesday, SEC tournament. SEC tournament, their postseason begins. And they go in winning 5 straight. We have Aggie baseball like 4 o'clock tomorrow on The Zone. Aggie softball's playing a midweek, and it's like they're only midweek of the year. They're only playing like 2. It's real random. When I first started doing softball, you had midweeks and sometimes multiple double headers, 2 nights. But, this coaching staff, they don't believe in midweeks, and which, it's brutal in SEC play. That extra day of practice and or rest is pretty important. But they have a midweek Wednesday this week. And then Aggie women in the SEC tournament. Aggie baseball plays a 4 o'clock game. That had a game time change attached to it. It's beautiful as a sports fan how many sports, and this week has these odd times and odd days and odd everything. Yeah, it's a lot of fun if you're an A&M sports fan. And again, Aggie football was at the Combine this weekend, and something from the Combine that disturbed me was Casey Concepcion did all kinds of interviews. And I kept seeing this as a social thing, right? And people were criticizing, calling him out. They were wondering about his stutter. And I guess they knew absolutely nothing before he went out there. And his story is a phenomenal one. His story is inspirational to many. And there were people there, like I say, calling out, questioning, or making fun of even. A lot of idiots in the world. A lot of absolute idiots in the world. And then Casey released a statement about it, and even more people have been inspired by his story and his response. And yeah, that's been a pretty phenomenal story. I think that might be the best story coming out of the Combine. But there's a lot of stupid people in the world. That's just a reality. But I remember just watching that, and I still, even now, I'm like, what? But that's the modern times I guess we live in. People don't know what first reaction is to attack a kid, really? Or to make fun of, is that a more appropriate way to say it? 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. You can light up the Texas Mobile Guadalupe Express inbox. I'm going to be fascinated when the NFL draft finally rolls around, and I'll tell you why I'll be fascinated. I want to see what the grade value draft stock is of these Aggies. Are we going to have 2 first rounders? Are we going to have 1? Are we going to have 3 second rounders? Are we going to have 1? Is there going to be 4 Aggies in the day 1, which that's a phrase I have to retire, because day 1 now is really just the first round when it used to be the first 3. First 3 rounds of players are expected to contribute, start even. So it still applies in that context, but now it's too convoluted and doesn't fit the structure anymore. So in the first 3 rounds, how many Aggies are going to go? Guys expected to play, start 2 deep in, which means play in year 1. And moving forward for Elko and what he stated, right? Seriously, moving forward for Elko and everything he stated, it's not just going to be the volume of players he sends to the Combine or the volume of players drafted. Also thinking bigger picture, how many first and second rounders, how many elite NFL players will A&M have in the future? Like, is it going to become a D-line, O-line program? And moving forward, you will see, and we'll go with 4 D linemen, 5 O linemen, 9 O linemen, and every year A&M's putting 3 into the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft. Something along, you get the concept, where A&M becomes this pipeline to the NFL. If you could check me yes on that, A&M's going to have a lot of college football playoff appearances and so forth moving forward. Just one of those thoughts. Just, where does Elko take this? Not just volume, but what rounds and what positions and things like that. Yeah, just, something I'm thinking, because Elko's building has a plan here. 13, most of, all these stories now, right? 13, most of any team in the Combine. So anyway, but I could just see him being an O-line pipeline easily, and then D-line he already did too. That's why I wondered what the scouts learned from Albert Regis and Tyler Onyedem. Yeah. Albert Regis tested so well. And he's Mr. I just see at the NFL level, he's someone, you have for 8 years and 9 years, maybe a couple of Pro Bowls in there, and just steady as a rock. So this year, kind of a litmus test. How does the NFL see the Aggie players coming from an Elko system? 979-693-1150. Jimmy Robinson sent pretty positive text message. He said, Louie, that's me. Today is a good day to be alive. Everything is greening up and it's just nice outside. Winter's not over, but today is nice. Jimmy, got to agree with that. This weekend was gorgeous. I had the windows down every time I went anywhere because the weather was just that good. When we come back, the Aggie Baseball listen in, the push down the stretch we go. It is the Louie Bellina Show, Monday edition on The Zone.
Every Tuesday at 1, Olin Buchanan of Texags joins the Louie Bellina Show to, well, hang out and talk Aggie sports.
And go team.
Listen in on The Zone.
It is the Louie Bellina Show, Monday. We already registered someone. One lucky person got their name on the list. They're a finalist to, well, win tickets to go see Creed at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. You know, this is the third week that we've registered one person per day. Get your name on the list. You get to be a finalist. Third week now. And every day this week, another person will get their name on the list. And it's all thanks to Grohalski Sausage Company. Tomorrow, listen in. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, listen in. Each day, one more person gets their name on the list. Friday, we'll draw one lucky winner. Get a pair of tickets thanks to Grohalski Sausage Company. Grohalski Sausage Company with 2 locations. One, South Main Street, Bremond. That's the OG original location. Their newer is South Main Street on Calvert. So check it out for yourself, Grohalski Sausage Company. Time now for that Aggie Baseball listening I've been talking about. Friday, 10-0. They run rule Virginia Tech. Here's Shane Sdao.
We got questions for Shane. Shane, take us through your outing today. What did you like? What did you like in getting the big win today?
Yeah, I really liked the way I competed on the mound. I enjoyed being up there on a big league mound. I mean, who wouldn't be? But something I disliked about this was, I mean, I said it out there and I'll say it again. I felt pretty bland out there. I felt like I didn't have my greatest stuff. All I did out there was compete and do what I do best, and it turned out well.
You had a little bit of traffic out there, but it seemed like it was nails, especially when guys got on third. What was working for you in those situations?
I mean, nothing really changed. I continued to charge at him like it was an 0 count every single time, like there's no one on base, and it didn't really affect me. And I did a great job at holding runners and not letting them take bases. So.
Third outing of the season. Just how does this one feel different from the previous 2?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're in a 5-level stadium. That's a little different, which is awesome, but. I'd say previous is, like I said, I was a little bland. I didn't have my greatest stuff, and it was more like my first outing than my second outing. But I really enjoyed the way I was on the mound, my presence up there, so that's always good.
What does it mean for you to go out there and deal on the mound, and then your offense just come up and put a crooked number later in the game?
It's amazing. I mean, I love those guys. I have my full trust in them, whether it's an 0 game like last week or 10-0 game like it was this game. Like I put my full trust in them that they're going to come through for me, and they did.
Do you have any thoughts that you could go the entire game, especially as that number got put up, or could you feel yourself kind of wearing down?
I was getting a little tired, but I knew I had to push through it. I mean, every game, whenever you throw 80-plus pitches, you're going to get tired. It's the way it is, and I just had to push through it. I always have in my mind that I want to go 9 innings, whether I have my stuff that day or not. I want to go 9. I want to throw 100 pitches. But this game, we just had that long inning, and it just wasn't smart to put me back out there.
You finally walked someone, and you're sorry to.
No, you're good.
With the brand in the first 3 games, only walking 1 batter. Is there like a go-to pitch or a go-to mentality for you, even if you have a 3-ball count against a hitter?
I wouldn't say there's a go-to pitch, but my go-to mentality is still attack. Like it's an 0 count. I mean, that's the greatest mentality you can have in baseball. I mean, if you truly treat it as an 0 count and you throw strikes, no matter what count it is, you're going to be very successful. And I was pretty upset about that walk. I mean, that's going to haunt me tonight, but you got to live with it. That's baseball. No, you're completely fine.
Similarly to that, like you talk about having a bland outing, maybe not your best stuff. How does that change your approach, and what's that look like mentally, like when you step out there?
Nothing changes. Again, I have to go out there and compete and do my job, and that's exactly what I did tonight. So, I mean, if I went out there and I was like, okay, I'm bland, I suck today, then I was going to give up 30. But I went out there and I competed. I do what I do best, and I gave up nothing.
What was the thoughts, emotions when you see Chris come back, at least for the beginning there, and then hit a home run that first at bat?
I mean, the emotions were high. He came in the dugout, I was screaming. We were giving high fives everywhere. It's an amazing thing to see a player come back.
How hard have you seen him work, or in rehab treatment to get back to be able to do that?
Every time I'm in the weight room, he's in there. Every time I'm in the cages, he's in there. He truly wants to be there. He wants to be the greatest there is, and I really appreciate his work ethic, and I really respect him.
Anything else? That's all we got.
That was Shane Sdao after the win Friday, 10-0 2-0 run rule over Virginia Tech. Very honest kind of evaluation of things there, to be honest with you. And Sdao, his first start, that was the first time back. And what was it, 614 days or something like that between starts. And, he looked like someone had been pitching that long between starts. It wasn't bad, just in his last 2 starts, he's been simply fantastic. Here's Gavin Lyons after the UCLA game on Saturday.
How challenging is it to face a lineup like that and keep them down?
And those guys are good. It's always hard to go against a good competitor. For me, it's just always about competing, right? Like, it doesn't matter who you're facing. And I'm just going out there and I'm competing to my best ability. And it doesn't matter who's in the box. I'm just going to strike one and go from there.
What was the two-strike battle like between them when you got 2 strikes with those guys? Because it seemed like they were putting the ball in play a lot with 2 strikes.
Yeah, they were. That's a good team. They battle and they battle. And you just got to keep throwing strikes.
Knowing what you know about this club, what do you expect to see for a bounce-back tomorrow from your guys?
Oh, we're going to bounce back great, man. I mean, Coach Earley said it's a reality check, and it is. It's a game of baseball, right? We're going to bounce back harder, and we're going to win tomorrow.
How difficult is it to pitch when they constantly have traffic?
It's the same. I mean, nothing changes, right? I mean, it doesn't matter. It's always the same.
Anything else? Did you expect to come in this game that as early as you did?
Maybe not as early, but it doesn't matter, right? I was ready. I was ready yesterday. I was ready today. Whenever I get my name called out, I'll be ready.
Gavin Lyons after the game Saturday versus UCLA, and 2 things in there. It's just baseball, but he said he expected them to bounce back great. And that's what, bottom line, period, Arizona State was Sunday. It wasn't early season tester, the mental of the team. It wasn't just another game. It wasn't just Arizona State. It was about bouncing back, and they had the challenge of getting run ruled. And, they hadn't lost yet. It was the first loss, bounce back. Got run ruled, bounce back. And then the game got delayed. Was it an hour delay to first pitch or longer? So it's the end of the long weekend. Everything else I said, it was a test. And A&M jumps up 5, and then little early response from Arizona State. There's 2-0 A&M. They respond, and you throw a 3 spot up. They scored 1 run in the mid innings, just a little ember of hope, and then you put a 3 spot up to spit on it. And great game. Response. He was right. Gavin Lyons, I expect this to respond. They did. So 2-1. I don't know how you don't feel good / let's just say great with what you got done, got the 2 wins, and how you responded. And look, we're going to get more data points. SEC play is just around the corner. There's no doubt in the universe about that. But 10-1 versus what they were 6-4 to start last year, right? And you knew last year at the start there was trouble. Straightforward, not a rocket scientist. Yeah, you don't need a lead analysis for that concept. We knew with that start, things were not good. This week ahead, 4 o'clock tomorrow, the Incarnate Word, and then Oakland over the weekend. Should have some more dubs ahead. Final non-con week. Because next week, all the way of next week, SFA mid, and then they're going up to Norman. They take on the Sooners. Didn't see in the new ranking where they were. They were 13 last week, but top 15, top 20 Oklahoma. That's what A&M. This is it. Final tune-up. SEC play begins. The death march. Man. Oklahoma, Georgia at home, Bluebell, at Mizzou. Boy, when you want to talk about revenge weekends. Vandy at Bluebell, Texas, Bluebell, the Longhorns, LSU at the Box, Baton Rouge, Florida, Gainesville, Auburn, Bluebell, Ole Miss in Oxford, and then the final weekend of the regular season, Mississippi State, Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. Now that's a lot in there, but 2 weekends, SEC play begins. 2 weekends, you go to Norman. Final tune-up this week, Incarnate Word, and then Oakland. Big, I'm going to say it last time, that was huge. Taking that Arizona State game. Time now, here's Michael Early meeting the media after wrapping up that game and the series the weekend.
Coach, the response from your team after last night, what'd you like from them today?
Yeah, just speaking of last night, like, coaches, you got to look back after the game, and I was really just upset with the fact we got run ruled, right? And I think looking back, we did some things better than I thought, but at the same time, a response and the fact that we did get our butts kicked, and they did an awesome job control the strike zone, threw strikes, got runners in, we need to get them in. You saw some guys just hit some balls off the end of the bat, just moving the ball, and they did a great job. And I know it's 3 different teams, but you got to win series, right? We wanted to win the tournament, we didn't, but you got to get used to that fact, especially when you play in our league. It's tough to get one of those first 2. When you do, you got to finish the job on Sunday, and they did that. So it was a good weekend.
Jordan really stepped up and kind of settled things down. What have you liked about him being kind of one of those first guys from the pen?
Yeah, he's been really impressive. He's thrown a lot of strikes. He's got good stuff. Gives a unique look to the opposing hitter, especially coming in after Sims. So he's doing his job, man. We hand him the ball. We feel comfortable doing it.
You ever seen a ball go into a pitcher's shirt before?
No, I did not. But I know if it hits the umpire, goes in his shirt, automatic hit. So I've not seen it though. Only heard about it.
Similar to Richard's question, you guys had a couple of adversity spots this year that you've really responded well. What about your team has allowed you guys to be so good in those next moments?
It's all about those guys, man. Those guys in the locker room, they really care. No one ever wants to come out and play bad. No one ever wants to lose. But anything can happen, and your response is what the outcome is. And these guys been tested a few times in games, but I've seen it all fall, all spring in practice. So I was not surprised at all. I knew they were going to come out today and play good baseball.
Sticking with the response, every time they score, you guys answer back. How just important is that in the flow of a game like this?
Yeah, I think the biggest part with that is, like, you're not trying to, right? You just continue to take your at-bats and your pitches, and if you get a pitch to hit, you hit a strike. If they base on balls or hit you, you keep putting pressure on them. So I think the biggest saying, scoring position or response to any runs, is just play your game, get your pitch. If you don't, pass it to the next guy.
You're talking about wanting to move up, but what happened last night? How big was it right off the bat for Caden Sorrell to kind of set the tone? And for him individually to see that ball.
For sure, too. In a 2-strike count, he hits one the other way, and when he moves it the other way, he can still hit it out of the park. So, yeah, getting on the board early, that's why we got him there in the 2-hole. We want him up as soon as possible, and he crushed that ball. It's great to see.
Big test weekend. Did you learn anything new about your team coming out of these 3 games?
Yeah, I did. We traveled well, all the guys. That's a whole new thing for us, right? We've been at home, and I really liked it. Like, even last night, I left with, defeated for a minute, but had some confidence because they saw what it takes. They know they're that good, especially when we get some guys back off the shelf. We're a really good baseball team. We just got to continue to play well.
Similarly to that question, how valuable is a series like this where you can't really emulate SEC play, but it cranks up competition?
It's huge. You crank up competition. You get out of your comfort zone. I mean, we're hitting at D-bat in the morning, you know what I mean? Then we're coming here, hitting the cage, taking a quick in and out. So, yeah, I mean, all of that stuff throws a challenge at your team. You see how they handle it. Then you get to the baseball part. We got tested a little bit in game 2. We responded. So all kinds of positives to take out of the weekend. A lot of stuff to work on, right? We're never going to celebrate 2 out of 3 when we get run off the field, one of them. But a lot of good stuff coming out of this weekend.
How's Kobe doing?
Good.
How's Wesley Jordan doing?
Doing great.
Anything else? Was it Cliff who caught the ball that went in the pitcher's? Or did the umpire get it right away?
Umpire got it, yeah.
How big are the early at-bats for freshmen and Boston?
How big are
the early at-bats for guys like Boston and
Just in their career?
Yeah.
I mean, they're huge because those guys are going to play. I mean, by all accounts, they're going to play every day. So getting them out there, and they're going to be hopefully staples of this program in the future. But we need them to be really good now. So getting them out there is huge.
Michael Earley, after the win over Arizona State Sunday, kind of wraps up our Aggie Baseball listening. Shane Sdao, Gavin Lyons, and Michael Earley from over the weekend down at Globe Life. Again, I thought it was a really, really good weekend. Again, Arizona State responding and then responding in the game with responses to, you get the point, I think you do. And, the thing about this 10-1 start and responding ranked 22, they've done it with very limited Hercopian, who number 1, number 2 MLB draft prospect. Wesley Jordan been injured. Caden Sorrell has missed some time himself too. So 2 of your top 3 in the batting order and another key part of your offensive cog have missed time, significant time. Is it 8 games for Hercopian, like 5 for Jordan, something Again, I think about, so remember, 2 out of your top 3 in your order. All 3 have been affected to some degree in the first 11 games, and you're bouncing back and you're winning games. And yeah, these are the things you have to look at when you're trying to evaluate, grade, and just how do you feel. To me, doing what they need to do, and they're overcoming in the process. So gotta feel good, better than you did a year ago. And injuries are a storyline, and they're still just kind of going forward. Final non-con week this week with Incarnate Word, 4 o'clock tomorrow, Oakland over the weekend, and then a week from Friday, SEC opening in Norman to take on the Sooners. We'll grab a timeout, come back, wrap the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. Built on faith, family, community. That's CC Electric. The Louie Bellina Show, Monday edition on the Zone.
Can't reach your radio? Listen to Aggie Baseball online at radioaggieland.com.
The Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. Free estimates, military and veteran discounts. They got them at CC Electric. See, tomorrow, if I got this right, is Tuesday. Tomorrow, Logan Lee, 11:20 inside the Charles Schwab studio. Tomorrow, 12:35, a listen in. Bucky McMillan having his media day today, kicking off the week, and he'll talk about the challenges ahead. 2 games remain in the regular season, including Kentucky Tuesday night at Reed. So we'll listen into what Bucky had to say about the upcoming matchup with the Wildcats and more. At 1 o'clock, Olin Buchanan inside the Charles Schwab studio. Then at 1:50, Community Spotlight, Twin City Mission. We'll talk about the Twin City Mission Charity Golf Tournament coming up end of March and more. Most guests of the Louie Bellina Show, most guests, actually join me on the D4 Land Services hotline. And if you ever need your land cleared, land excavated, land fixed, go to d4landservices.com. If you ever need forestry, mulching, pond construction, metal buildings, go to d4landservices.com. But Tuesday tomorrow, very much a Charles Schwab studio kind of day with Logan, 11:20, Olin at 1, and Community Spotlight, Twin City Mission at 1:50. All day Tuesday inside the Charles Schwab studio. In uncertain times, Charles Schwab remains invested in their clients, in you, by offering personalized guidance and clarity. And it's personalized because we got Mark Sim right here in College Station. Personalized means you walk through the door, shake a hand, look them in the eye, sit down with them. That's personalized, not just the whole digit trees and digit calls and 1 hour just to get to the second phone tree. No. Sit down. Look them in the eye. You can contact Mark Sim. Get answers to your questions. Learn more at schwab.com/College Station. I actually want to wrap things up a little light here. I just, the infamous lifestyles portion of the Louie Bellina Show. I forget where I saw this, the interwebs, and I don't know if it's a Reddit or an X, Twitter, but things that become attractive only after you're 25. I think there's many of us hanging out here now on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM that have no remembrance of what happened after we turned 25. There's some of us that can't remember our 20s. So, this is from the interweb. Things that become attractive only after 25. I saw driving a minivan. Didn't happen to me. A large and comfortable bed. True. I can't list the age, but back in the day, I used to travel the country, and I just needed like a couch. Heck, comfortable padding for the floor. That's not the world I live in, and I don't know when that changed, but one day I woke up and went, I can't do this. So a large and comfortable bed becomes attractive only after 25. Truth. This one made me laugh. An air fryer. An air fryer. And maybe it's me projecting, but I know some adults, i.e. over 25, that look at other adults, i.e. over 25, and look down upon you if you have an air fryer. And then the air fryer community, we all have each other's back. And the air fryer is the best thing since the wheel and sliced bread. So I think the air fryer is a little more complex than becoming attractive, but only after the age of 25. Air fryers rule. The number one thing they had listed kind of got a chuckle from me because I do this all the time, but it never, ever, ever, ever follows through. things that become attractive only after the age of 25 is having no plans for the weekend. O'Reilly. No, wait. I do this all the time. I have no plans for the weekend, but I never finish with no plans because I could say, man, this is so cool. I got nothing planned, but my phone will ring, my phone will ding, work will call, friends will call. Whether I have them planned or not, I don't have a weekend that finishes with no plans. I have many weekends that have no plans. So that's like not a misnomer, but having no plans, sure, yeah. But finishing with no plans, no. I don't know if that's a weekend that's ever existed for me. Maybe that's a tragedy. I don't know. I'm back tomorrow at 11. Peace, everybody. Be amazing. This has been the Louie Bellina Show on The Zone.
This is Jerome from Birmingham, previously from Paul Feinbaum Show.
Kirk Williams, back to wrestling for a second. How important is that entrance?
Man, music is so important. The entrance is so important. You know what I mean? It sets the stage for all the greatness about to happen. And that's what I do. Because once I get in the ring, I'm about my business. But before then, I'm just setting the music. I'm setting the mood so I can set the talent right into your lap as a fan.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on The Zone.